All right, ZM everyone, how's it going? Um, I'll give you all like a minute or two to start tuning in. My name is Abby. I'm here to just chat a little bit on what we've built at ZERÅ Network. Some of the agenda items today will include like our teams learnings from each CC, developer incentives that we plan to offer to you to build on ZERÅ Network, and more. So let's give everyone a minute or two while I set things up here. I also encourage you to like post any questions you have on our main Twitter thread. So this is in ZERÅ.network, and as they come in, I'll take a look and try to get to as many questions as possible. Really, the goal here is to try to set a space for us to talk to you guys, the developers, the users, the builders, and understand how we want to build ZERÅ Network collaboratively with all of you. The format really is simple. We'll spend some time first just recapping everything from each CC and the last month or so where we launched ZERÅ Network's testnet and our documentation. I have a special surprise as well. We have some, hackathon builders and winners of the Zerion and ZERÅ.network bounties that will be sharing a little bit more on their projects and their experience building on ZERÅ. And finally, I'll just give you a quick overview on, demoing some of the exciting things that we have going live pretty soon with our documentation, our, free transactions, or gasless transactions, workflows, and whatnot. Cool. Well, with that, let's get started. Hey, everyone. Again, I wanted to share that in the last month or so, we've been incredibly excited with how, everything came together with Zerion launching ZERÅ.network, our first attempt at solving gasless transactions. And what sort of like backstory on why we built ZERÅ? The real challenge that we've observed in the space for a long time has been gas. So we really felt that it was a big barrier in users and developers trying to interact on chain and use plethora of dApps, especially with the recent use cases around Web3 social, around NFTs, and a lot more. For example, when you go to Zora and you mint something on chain, you classify it as a free mint, but in reality, you're actually paying a little bit for gas, and it's not really free, right? So like we wanted to try to, take the user experience you have on Zerion Wallet to the next level, and that's why we've introduced ZERÅ Network on top of ZK's powerful stack to just join their Elastic Chain ecosystem and make this experience a reality and make it possible for everyone. Some quick updates in terms of numbers over the last month or so. Like we've crossed like over, let me see the latest number, over 320,000 transactions on ZERÅ Network's testnet. Our ecosystem is growing, so we have an exciting list of dApps that are going live with us at launch. Our documentation is live. You can actually go on there at docs.zero.network and claim our docs testnet token. So this is, if you have a Zerion extension or a Zerion wallet, you could actually experiment and test a gasless transaction for the first time on that flow, and that's really fun. And a lot more. I think like the conference really showed us that ZK stack is an exciting stack to build on, and there's been a lot more chains like Lens and a couple others that we'll be deploying soon as well. And we're excited to be one of the first to launch our testnet there. So that's a little bit on like the recap. Now let's go to the fun section. We've had like a packed weekend. I just got back to San Francisco from Brussels, so we actually had a packed weekend building at ETH Global, and ETH Global was the first major hackathon that Zerion was a part of. And this was, I'd say, one of the most exciting events that I had the opportunity to be a part of. Main reason being the energy in the room, especially around all these new projects. We had ZK, we had FHE, we had a lot of new narratives that were both exciting to developers, but also more exciting to us, as the bounty contributors, right? Because as a chain, our real goal is to like incentivize new founders and new dApp creators to actually deploy on networks that help them with distribution. Zerion as the wallet has over 300,000 active users, and for us, one of the big goals was to determine how to best get our users access to like interesting, relevant dApps, building the coolest use cases. So we've had over 10 teams submit interesting hacks at ETH Global, and we've chosen 4 top teams to win prizes, and the prizes really meant one of 2 things. If you'd built a project on Zerion API, which is our API for on-chain wallet data, or if you'd built and deployed a contract on Zero testnet, which is the recently launched testnet, you'd be eligible for one of 4 prizes. And it was like a first prize of $4,000, second prize of $3,000, and then we had like 2 shared third prizes of $1,500 each. Let me first welcome one of our winning projects, OSnap. And OSnap was a really interesting attempt at trying to solve for the quality of contracts. Basically, they took in like an interesting algorithm that Twitter X uses for its community notes to verify if a tweet is legit or not. Let me bring on to the stage 0x, GSI, and Alex. Hey, how's it going?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Alex?
Yes, let me turn on camera. Just 1 second.
Yeah, take your time. I just wanted to ask you guys, maybe you can introduce right away, like what was the story behind building OSnap? How did this come about?
It actually started as a shower thought of mine, because I've been thinking a lot recently about like the community notes, because as most DJs, I spend a lot of time on x.com, and I thought to myself, like the idea is super nice, and it would be a nice way. It would be nice to have that kind of like social layer to verify the validity of different smart contracts as well, to try to mitigate people getting wrecked by phishing links and scam contracts, basically.
For sure. And I think like the current approaches that have been taken, right? Like even in Zerion, we have this, we use external partners like Blockade to actually see.
I'm back, I think.
There we go. Yeah, no, I was saying like, how did you see the current landscape for security platforms? There's like companies that exist to like solve this for wallets like Blockade, but it's really interesting how you took like the human element. Have you had experience before with any other security platforms, or was this completely new for you guys?
I haven't really had that, but what I think is nice with a solution like this is that rather than like being dependent on like one entity, you really have this like the people that have used the contracts that might have either gotten wrecked by it or like used it successfully. It's easier to gain like the volume of correct information, I think.
For sure. I guess another question that I had, so I was curious, are you guys planning to build this out as a product now after the hackathon, or what's the team planning?
Yeah, we have talked about it, and as I said at ETH Global, I think I'm talking on behalf of all of us when I say that we are interested in this. So yeah, we'll just have to sync up now these coming days and see.
Love that. What do you think is useful to you as a hacker? Is it grants? Is it users? Is it like distribution? I'm curious, as you've talked, and talked to more projects and won more bounties, like where do you think like chains and just projects can help builders the best?
I for sure think grants are a good thing, but like you wouldn't want to be like solely dependent on that. That wouldn't be benefit neither the chain nor the hackers.
For sure.
The highest focus would be to on-chain users, I think. Users that can use what's being built on top of the chains.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like it's a combination of everything, right? Like ideally,
Of
if you just
course.
give grants, but don't give any like meaningful things to do with the grants or ways to like grow, it's challenging. Let me actually try to, share my screen and for those tuning in, like show you just like a brief overview of OSNAP. And feel free to jump in as well and explain kind of like the context
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
Do you think the live demo will work? Should we give it a shot?
We can give it a shot, but make sure to not use base in that case, because that will
I see.
require world ID. I think all the other
Okay.
chains will work.
Let me actually see if I can make this work. Oh. Let me see.
So maybe here it would be good to have Sandro, because he's been much more involved in the front end than I have. I have mostly been building on the smart contract end.
Hello.
Hey, Sandro.
Yes. So
I see. This is on localhost. Yeah.
API is down now. Yes, we had it running, but it's down for now, and it's connected to localhost because we had
I see. Yeah.
We had some issues with hosting, so we connected it to localhost.
No worries. Well, you want to run us through quickly the steps, or at least like how the community notes works within OSNAP? I can open some of the relevant screenshots so everyone knows what it is.
Yes. So first of all, you create a node, and you write the smart contract address you're reporting. So the address you see, and the node content. The node content gets uploaded to IPFS. When you upload the node content, we grab the CID, the ID of the node, and connect it to smart contract. So the smart contract also stores nodes and also stores CID. So we're getting smart contracts from the smart contract, but we're getting the node content from the IPFS itself. Mm-hmm. And we also do WorldCoin verification to avoid spams. So one person can't spam votes and can't create multiple nodes. And we also have voting that's based on it's simplified Twitter algorithm for now, and it determines which comment should be shown in the snap itself when you're interacting with smart contract.
Mm-hmm. So the UX for those listening in really is like very seamless. So right now it's a snap, and you've deployed this on ZERÅ Network as well, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, so this could be a fully gasless snap with every new note being gasless. That was I'm assuming that was the value prop you guys had in mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like having this being gasless would really benefit, because we still we prepared for it on the smart contract level, but we want to have like a financial incentive to write notes as well. So we have like a tipping function as well, but it's not really used in the front end. And having like 0 gas transactions would really benefit this idea, I think.
No, this is super cool. Also something that we could totally think of building inside the Zerion wallet. Around gasless, right? Like I think this is kind of like the use case where it doesn't make sense for you as the DApp builder or for the user to pay anything on fees, right? So I can totally see like a whole set of use cases around like content, around social, that will be driven by gasless. When I say gasless, what's the first thing that comes to your mind though, like as a crypto builder?
I think that it at some point will be like needed, because for all of us, like gas is pretty obvious, but if we truly want to like on-ramp people that aren't crypto users yet, I think to really reach scale, we need gasless for sure.
Definitely, yeah. Well, thank you guys for the explanation. I'm actually gonna link, your project, your ETH Global link as well, and we'll give you guys a shout out after the stream. Thanks for tuning in. I'll move on to the next section with the ZERÅ Network demo.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attention.
Have a good one. Cool. All right, that was fun. Well, now let's go to our next part. I wanted to just, basically spend some time resurfacing some details around Zero, and this is pretty much going to be a presentation that I gave at. There we go. Let me see if this is easier. Sweet. So it's going to be a little presentation we gave at the ETH Global Hackathon, more for builders, as a workshop to understand, what they could leverage from Zero Network, what exists right now, what's live, and pretty much how easy it is to use the platform. So who are our ideal users, right? Like our ideal users, we used to call them Web3 citizens back in the day on the Zerion product, but really these are users on the frontier, on the fringe, trying to experiment with on-chain dApps, creating, content, understanding what's new and what's interesting as metas in the space. And our goal really to enable these ideal users is to enable these like on-chain users to, have more enjoyable and fun on-chain experiences. So we had the wallet, and now the real goal for building the chain is to leverage what we have right now with our user experience to make it much more fun to use for users, for dApp developers, and for creators alike. And with that, to reiterate, we really think that gasless. You'll hear me saying gas a lot. I apologize for that, but this is really the way to go if we want to make this modular abstraction that Vitalik talks about a reality. And to do that, we built Zero Network on the ZK stack because it's EVM compatible, and more importantly, it's the only stack that has native, account abstraction, and this really helps us in the future to, even improve our wallets interoperability with several other chains. And there's a lot more technical details as to why we chose ZK stack that I'm not going to go into for now. And I guess an important part of this is really to take a step back. When we decided to build a gasless chain, we realized that gasless also comes with the problem of spam. So if you've looked at a lot of the chains that have released in the last couple of years that tried to attempt to solve for gas, they always faced a big issue of spam, because a lot of it just means that making something gasless means that there will be opportunities to exploit it, and it's not a very curated or moderated experience for the end user. And that's why we are building this special system called on-chain DNA, which is essentially our way to solve for spam and to promise to all dApps building on Zero Network that they'll only have real users, Sybil-resistant real users that will be using their dApp. So if you're subsidizing gas for your end user, you can be rest assured that your end user is a real user. And how we're doing this, our engineers are hard at work building this, as we speak. And we will be open sourcing the on-chain DNA system, and I think that's pretty important, just so we can get feedback of everyone, in the space. And there's been a lot of good attempts at solving this on the protocol level, like Gitcoin Passport and several other scoring systems that we use. But this will be the first attempt at solving this at the chain level, and that, that's something that should be really, really interesting for builders also to build on top of, and make it kind of compatible with their current scoring systems. This is just the higher level architecture on how on-chain DNA. This is really the back end, the protection system off the chain, how it works with Zerion wallet, and how it also interacts with our own custom paymaster. And all of this right now is live on our docs at docs.zero.network. And our testnet can also be explored within our Explorer, which is explorer.zero.network. And to kind of reiterate, we have a lot of dApps that will be going live, including DEXs, NFT platforms, meme coin, launchpads. Our goal is really to try to be the chain for interesting dApps and on-chain content. and all of that is to be released throughout the course of this summer. I'll just like share my screen and demo some of the features that we have in our docs, so it's easy to understand. Let me go ahead and open up Zero Docs. Yeah, so as you can see, very simple, straightforward docs. What we'll do is, if you're a smart contract developer and you want to deploy a smart contract to Zero, or if you're a dApp developer and you want to learn how to build a dApp, we have a simple, startup guides for that you could, take a look at. I wouldn't go into the details of configuration right now, but if you have any questions, please join our community and ask away, and we'll be happy to help. And the same goes for building a dApp. Really the only integration needed is to use either our paymaster or a custom paymaster. And what's even more interesting is that if you've seen a dApp that's deployed on ZK Sync currently, you can really just fork it and in a single click make it compatible with ZERT Network, because we use the same standards. So that's another interesting way if you as a developer want to build on top of Zero and make use of the resources distribution that we have to offer. It's really that easy. All you got to do is use the just fork a existing dApp that's live on ZK Sync and build an improvement on top or an interesting use case, and you should have it live. And about what I mentioned earlier on trying a gasless transaction, this is really exciting as well. Basically, we've demoed, like a sample transaction workflow of claiming the docs, token, which is really just the ERC20 testnet token. It doesn't show you anything or give you access to anything else, but it's just like a fun way to see how a completely gasless transaction can be made. And right now, this is on my, one of my main wallets. So of course I have some ETH, but you could also hypothetically open up like a completely new wallet, empty wallet, and still, claim this and experience gasless transactions. So, the kinds of dApps that you could be building on top are really interesting and exciting, because we've had like a lot of conversations with builders in the past few weeks. I've had several ideas like, like DEXs with gasless interfaces built right into Telegram, or you have like a meme client platform that cannot be rugged, so it has like security features built under the hood, or just like Quest platforms like the ones that you use already, like Layer 3 or Galaxy, but being fully on chain. So every part of you submitting a proof that you've done an action can be on chain as a gasless transaction. These are all use cases that we're exploring, and if you want to deploy a custom contract as well, you can kind of see what exists currently in our Explorer page, and you can see all the blocks that have been processed and any of the new contracts that have been uploaded. That's a little bit on the Zero Network overview, and part of building on a chain also involves you understanding what's in it for you as a founder or as a builder, right? We've seen chains experiment with several approaches here, giving grants, like helping with fundraising, helping with growth. For us, we really see two main goals that builders have in the long run, right? If you are someone looking to grow your app, your main goal really is to onboard users. And for users, you need distribution. I think what's really exciting is being able to connect your dApp with our existing user base. So we'd be able to feature your dApp on Zerion's Explore tab. We'd be able to essentially showcase interesting use cases to Zerion users under the hood with a fully gasless flow. And I think that's one of the big reasons to try to deploy on Zero. But the other reason, and this is something that we shared for the first time in ETHCC, is we'll be offering for the first time free Zerion API access. So a lot of the platforms that you use already, like Rainbow Wallet, Wallet Connect, some DEXs, and several other just wallets in the space, already use Zerion API under the hood to query transaction data, to build their histories, and to like actually showcase your DeFi and NFT balances, and do a lot more cool stuff on chain. And this is one of the backbones for a dApp in the space, right? Data costs a lot. So for the first time, we'll be giving away like up to $5,000 in free API credits if you deploy a contract or just build something on Zero. And this is also something that can honestly for several apps be like much more than their annual infrastructure cost. And we want to make it easy such that you don't need to pay for your own infrastructure and you get users. And I think like that's a combination there that will hopefully be useful for you. And we'd love to hear from you as well, like what else would be interesting as a builder. Will it be like, do you want to meet the team in person? Does it need to be like helping you with growth, helping you with like hiring, helping you with like just consulting on whatever it takes to build a consumer app, since that's been what we've been doing for a while. I think it's the possibilities are endless here, so we're happy to kind of talk through and see how we can help with the best. And request for ideas as well, right? Like kind of like what I mentioned earlier, there are several interesting areas where you can build on. I'd say we had this question asked to us a lot in ECC. What is the kind of app that you want to see built on Zerion? I'd say like on a spectrum from like very DeFi and like heavily financialized use cases on one hand to like very social and very like very social meme coin. I'd say like trend-based use cases on the other hand. They'll probably lean more towards the latter. And this really wouldn't be the best use case for a core, leveraged perpetual trading protocol. And similar to what I said earlier, like, NFT marketplaces or like very like easy to use dexes that might be integrated into like other apps like Telegram. I think these are the kind of apps that, you can start building out right now as a proof of concept and apply for a grant with us. Everything should be pretty straightforward. If you have any questions on that, you can totally go to zerion.io/discord, and we have our community team there to help you with going live. And finally, let me now move to the much awaited Q&A session. So for the Q&A, let's see what kind of questions we have. I will also just open my DMs really quick to see if there's any questions from the rest of the team. Let me see. Sweet. Well, we have, I guess, one question was really around how do we, what kind of dApps do we build? And I kind of just answered that briefly. But really, I'd say like anything that can be leveraged on, current on the current like user experience of Zerion's wallet or any wallet in the space. So this can be social, it can be NFTs, it can be like trading related. I think like there's no specific category that will fit Zero per se. So it's really up to you to kind of propose. And for existing dApps that already exist on other chains, we'll be happy to like help you also with like developer resources to migrate to ZERÅ Network if needed. Oh, there's one question on what hackathon will we be at next? So great question. One, I think like I was speaking with my team earlier, and they mentioned that we would actually love to be more present in conferences and hackathons that aren't, the most mainstream ones. So I know for a fact that there is ZERT Sofia, which is like a smaller conference in Bulgaria, or like ZERT Warsaw, and obviously DevCon later this year, which will be probably the largest one that we'll be a part of. So essentially, our strategy as a team is to be, be present in both the mainstream conferences, maybe 2 or 3 per year. We were at ETH Denver, or at least I was at ETH Denver earlier this year, and we'll be at DevCon. So we'll most likely do a larger hackathon with like larger bounties and incentives in DEF CON. I believe that's in November. It should also be after when we go live. So this is another question we got asked as well. When mainnet, or when, just like Zero. We will have we'll have a summer filled with campaigns. Like, I believe I can't share much alpha, but like Road to Zero, there's a lot of, like, as you've seen from our merch in ETCC already, we've been really trying to memify Zero as as a movement, as something that builders want to be a part of. So as part of that, our mainnet will be launching around September or October. Essentially, I would say like DEF CON, and there's a lot of steps involved to get to launch, and a lot of moving pieces and infra that we are building as I speak. So that's another in terms of when launch. Oh, there's one on how do you apply for a grant or for building on Zero. Great question. So go to docs.zero.network, and once you do that, like right in the main page, if you scroll all the way in the down below in the intro page, we just have a link there that says fill out this form to express interest, and we'll be in touch. So that's the form. We have a team that's fully reviewing this. Buga, who's our head of partnerships, will be your liaison if you want to build anything on Zero. And it's a really simple form where the main questions really are around like how can we help your dApp. Have you deployed before on ZK Sync stack? So if you haven't, we'll probably help you connect with other infra providers. If you need like subgraphs and whatnot, we have like a network that we could help you with. And for a new founder, if costs are an issue, we can always explore how we could work together with our partner companies to help you have the best onboarding possible. And it's very personalized. That's kind of what I'd say. Like, we don't really have a template and like a set system on how to work. And I think that's great, because like a lot of chains right now, or at least like a lot of like ecosystems, expect you to follow a certain template and like have very rigid requirements. But for us, I think we want to focus on the humans, like really making it personalized and like customized and tailored to like what you want to achieve. So that's kind of like how we want to build. And if you're more curious to hear more on like the security, on the infrastructure and things that have gone under the hood for the docs for ZERÅ Network, we have other parts of the documentation, including our audits, our branding, our network information. Network information is pretty crucial for you to like build and see our chain IDs and other technical details. So go ahead and take a look there. I think that brings us to the end of the session. We have a few interesting Q&A questions, but I'll be around for a bit on Twitter to answer your questions. If not, that's a wrap. Thanks, everyone. We'll definitely be doing more of this going forward.